Welcome back to the Kingdom Podcast, where we break down mindset, psychology, and the habits that shape your results, your identity, and ultimately your life. I'm your host, Matthew Robb, and today's episode is about something almost everyone experiences: falling off track. You start strong, you're consistent, you're disciplined, things are moving in the right direction, and then something happens. Life gets busy, you miss a day, maybe a week, and suddenly, you feel like you've lost momentum. Most people assume the problem is discipline, but the truth is, the real reason people fall off track has very little to do with discipline at all. Let's start with a truth that most people need to hear. Everyone falls off track sometimes, and I mean everyone. Even the most disciplined people in the world have days where things don't go according to plan. They miss workouts, they break routines, they lose momentum temporarily. So falling off track isn't the issue. The real issue is what happens next. When people fall off track, something psychological happens. Instead of simply restarting, they start judging themselves. They think, I ruined the streak. I should have been stronger. I'm back to square one. And that judgment creates friction. Friction creates hesitation. And hesitation turns a one-day disruption into a 2-week disappearance. Not because they're incapable, but because shame slows down their return. The real reason people stay off track isn't laziness, it's identity conflict. When you fall off track, your mind immediately asks, what does this say about me? And if your identity is fragile, your brain starts building a story. I'm inconsistent, I always do this, I can't stick with things. The moment you accept that story, falling off track stops being a temporary event, and it becomes a self-fulfilling identity. Here's something most people never realize. The most disciplined people in the world aren't perfect. They're just excellent at restarting. That's a skill. Not perfection, but recovery. They fall off track too, but instead of spiraling into judgment, they simply reset. They understand something powerful. Consistency isn't built by never falling. It's built by returning quickly. Now let's connect this back to identity. Someone who identifies as disciplined doesn't see falling off track as failure. They see it as a temporary misalignment. Just like a pilot adjusting a plane's course, the plane may drift slightly off its path, but the pilot doesn't panic, they correct the direction, and continue forward. Disciplined people do the same thing. They adjust, they continue, they don't overreact. Shame just makes all of this worse. Shame is the greatest enemy of momentum. When people feel shame, they avoid the behavior that would actually fix the problem. If you miss a workout, shame will tell you you've already messed up, so you avoid the gym. If you skip a productive day, shame will tell you you're behind now, so you avoid your work. Shame doesn't motivate improvement, it delays recovery. Real discipline isn't necessarily about never slipping. It's about how quickly you return to alignment. One missed day is nothing. One missed week is manageable. But when people allow guilt to turn into avoidance, they stay off track far longer than necessary. The faster you restart, the less damage the disruption causes. That's the real skill here. Here's a simple principle that many high performers live by. Never miss twice. One missed day, that's just life. 2 missed days becomes a pattern now. 3 missed days becomes a habit. The key is not perfection. The key is interruption of the downward spiral. If you miss a day, just return back the next day. No drama, no punishment, just alignment. Restarting builds something deeper than just motivation. It builds self-trust. Because every time you fall and come back quickly, you reinforce a very powerful identity. I'm someone who doesn't stay down. And that identity changes everything. Because the fear of falling off track disappears, you know you'll return back. And when you trust your ability to restart, consistency becomes inevitable. Long-term growth isn't about perfect streaks. It's about direction. You don't need to win every day. You just need to keep moving forward over time. And that's really what winning the day is all about. Even the strongest routines will have interruptions. travel, stress, unexpected life events, but what determines your trajectory is how fast you re-enter the process. So the next time you fall off track, don't overthink it, don't judge it, and don't build a story around it. Just restart. Quietly, calmly, immediately. Because falling off track isn't the real danger. Staying off track is. If this episode resonated with you and you're serious about building discipline, identity, and long-term momentum, I invite you to join us inside the Kingdom Training Academy Unschool, a community built for people who are committed to growth, accountability, and becoming the strongest version of themselves. The link will be in the description below. Until next time, stay steady, stay aligned, and keep building your kingdom.